Welcome everybody to Talk with Antonio. I am your host Antonio, and this is a special report. Wow. That's all I can say is this. Wow. On May 16th, 2025, it was pretty shocking to me, because look, we all know about President Biden, and you know how people are always speculating of how was he capable of handling the job being president, blah blah blah, especially by these fucking MAGA supporters and MAGA nuts. All these stupid people are just spewing out stupid shit, But other than that, I'll get into that in a little bit. In terms of this past May 16th, 2025, President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It says that the finding came after 82-year-old reported urinary symptoms, which led doctors to discover a nodule on his prostate. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday, May 16th, with the cancer cells having spread to the bone. And it says, and I quote, "While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management," his office says. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. In a post on Monday morning, President Biden posted a picture of himself and his wife Jill Biden and wrote, and I quote, "Cancer touched us all. Like many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are the strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support," unquote. Oh, man. Whenever I hear the word cancer, that is like the most scariest word you could ever hear in the English language. It's like with women, there's breast cancer, which is a very common cancer amongst women, and amongst men, the most common type of cancer is prostate cancer. But I've been reading a lot of reports. I even spoke to my mom and dad about this, and I talked about this with my mother, and she said that especially that type of cancer is very common amongst men, especially in their later years in life. Like right now, as soon as I heard what happened with President Biden, I immediately thought of my father, because my father is going to be 67 years old this year, and they're saying that it's more like genetics per se, which I don't think so. I think it's just like, I don't know. I really don't have much to say about that. But whenever I hear prostate cancer, I immediately think of my dad, or even my older brother, and that's like a very, very common cancer amongst men. And they're saying that, and I've read the symptoms of prostate cancer, and this is what it says. Let me see. This is by Google, and it says here that early stage prostate cancer often doesn't cause notable symptoms. However, some individuals may experience urinary issues like trouble starting or stopping urination, a weak urine stream, or frequent urination, especially at night. Other symptoms may include blood in the urine or semen, pain or burning during urination, or pain in the back, hips, or pelvis. In more advanced cases, symptoms like bone pain, fatigue, and weight loss may occur. The early stage symptoms are, like I said, urinary issues, blood in urine or semen, pain or burning during urination. Now, the advanced cancer symptoms are, as I read before, bone pain, fatigue, weight loss. Other symptoms: back pain, bone pain, difficulty getting an erection, erectile dysfunction, accidental leaking of urine, weakness in arms or legs. Important note: many other conditions can cause similar symptoms to prostate cancer, including benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, prostatitis, I can't pronounce that word, kidney stones, and urinary tract infections. Huh. And to my knowledge, people, whenever I hear any type of a UTI, that's mostly commonly associated with women. But apparently, even amongst men can get UTIs, which is like right now I'm just flabbergasted just reading by that, you know. And it also says here that if you experience any concerning symptoms, it's crucial to consult with a doctor or other healthcare professional for proper diagnosis and treatment. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC.gov, lists several symptoms of prostate cancer, including trouble starting urination, weak or interrupted flow of urine, urinating often, especially at night, and trouble emptying the bladder completely. The Mayo Clinic also provides information on prostate cancer symptoms, including blood in the urine, semen, or needing to urinate more often, and trouble getting started when trying to urinate. Moffitt notes that various other less serious conditions can produce many of the same symptoms as prostate cancer, such as BPH, kidney stones, and UTIs. And it says here that let me check this out. This is courtesy of CNN. It says here that actually, I'm just going to read what it says here. Basically, CNN says the same thing that President Biden said on Twitter. And it says here that he added that he and his wife, former First Lady Jill Biden, learned that we are the strongest in broken places, blah, 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 blah. And it says that prostate cancer is very common, said Dr. Jameen Bhatt, a urologist and robotic surgeon with Orlando Health and assistant professor at the University of Central Florida's College of Medicine, who is not involved in President Biden's treatment. As we get older, most men are going to have little cancer cells in them. It says here that here we go again. You know, this is the one thing that I am so sick and tired of, and I'm going to say this about this fucking fuckface that we have for a quote-unquote president. It says that President Biden faced concerns over health during 2024 race. Concerns about age and health dodged Biden, the oldest president in U.S. history. Throughout his time in office, came into sharper focus following his halting debate performance against Trump last June. In February 2024, President Biden underwent a physical at Walter Reed National Military Center overseen by physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who at the time said there were no new concerns with the president's health and he was, quote, fit for duty, unquote. Here we go, this fucking piece of shit, Jake Tapper. And this guy right here, I've always been like indifferent towards this guy, but now reading he released his book, this motherfucker definitely has an agenda. This is what he says in a new book written by CNN's Jake Tapper, whatever the fuck his name is. And Axios' Alex Thompson describes how the president had been showing signs of decline that aides ignored or explained away even before Biden's disastrous debate that led to his decision to exit the 2024 election 3 weeks later. It says that Tapper and Thompson write that Biden's aides privately discussed whether they would put him in a wheelchair for the second term, and that Biden didn't recognize movie star George Clooney at a June 2024 fundraiser. Biden has maintained a relatively low profile since leaving the White House, but has slowly started to reemerge on the public stage. He appeared alongside his wife, Jill Biden, earlier this month on ABC's The View, where he pushed back on suggestions he experienced cognitive decline in his final year in office. And this is the one thing that really, really, really pisses me off about these fucking right-wing MAGA, especially these MAGA nuts. Why is it they kept calling him Sleepy Joe? And look at this fuckface. He's fucking nodding off, sleeping. And Trump is the last guy on earth to be talking shit about a person's health and mental decline. Yet this guy at the funeral of the late Pope Francis, he was nodding off. He was sleeping. Yet this guy called President Biden Sleepy Joe. Look at him, fucking Sleepy Trump. Then he can eat a dick for all I care. And they used to say President Biden used to fart all the time. Look at this guy. Look at this guy talking the same. He did the same fucking shit. And yet, but when President Biden was doing all this kind of stuff, it was fucking taboo. Well, this guy does the same thing, and yet, it's President Trump, you should leave him alone. But then when it was President Biden, I said, look at this, he's not doing this, he's not fit for president. The mental decline also of Trump also comes in question, But yet somehow, there are some people who are, quote unquote, talking shit about President Biden. Like this guy, for example. Let me read what this guy wrote on Twitter. There's another fuckface that I don't even know why he just opens his mouth. All he ever does is just... And look at this one right here. Jessica Watkins, whatever this chick's name is. It says here, I'm going to post this loud and proud. Fuck Joe Biden. Joe Biden destroyed my entire life. I lost everything, including 4 years in prison. I was innocent, and he and his entire communist regime, they always use this term, communist, can go tickle their prostates with a reciprocating saw. Bye-bye, Joe Dirt. Why? Why is it President Biden's fault? Because you wanted to go fight as something that was a lost cause. You knew that Trump lost. You knew that he did not win the 2020 election. But yet somehow you went to go invade the Capitol to try to overturn the 2020 election. I think that's not President Biden's fault. That's your fault because you lost your freedom for 4 years because you definitely had an agenda in order to prove your loyalty to this orange turd that we have in power right now. So I wouldn't exactly say it's President Biden's fault. It's your fault, lady. So you can go eat a dick. Now here's another one. John Cardillo, a former pig, NYPD, and radio TV host. Once upon a time. This is what he says, and this is the one thing that makes me laugh about this guy. He said, and I quote, "Fuck him, the most corrupt motherfucker and to ever sit in the Oval Office, a horrible guy who weaponized every asset of the federal government against conservatives. Why the fuck are, quote, Republican members mourning this criminal vegetable fuckface? I think you're the fuckface, dude, and so is your fucking orange turd." These people right here keep spewing the same fucking shit. Oh, the 2020 election was rigged. That's all they ever fucking say. You people, get over it. Your president lost in 2020. There's no evidence of fraud. I don't understand what is with you guys that keep spewing the same shit over and over and over and over again. Yes, Trump won in 2016. You didn't see me. Yes, I was sad that at that time Secretary of State Hillary Clinton lost, but I had to get over it, you know? And the same thing happened with Vice President Kamala Harris. I was sad that she lost. We all know that she could have won, but you know what? That's okay. We like the liberals didn't actually go and invade the Capitol and say that the election was rigged. No liberals did that, you know? I got over it, you know? But yeah, you fuckers keep spewing the same fucking shit over and over. The 2020 election was rigged. Everything was rigged. The only thing that's rigged for Trump is his fucking brain, you know? He doesn't ever shut the fuck up. Him and all these fuckers, this guy and this other guy, that DC Drano. I call him Drano Brain because he keeps spewing the same fucking shit over and over and over. Just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Honest to Christ, just please. Trump is in office right now. He's the quote-unquote president. Isn't that enough for you people? But yeah, you keep that shit lives rent-free in your head. That Trump said that the 2020 election was rigged. Just, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Just shut up. Be happy with what you got right now. Trump's in power. What more do you want, people? Fuck, man. Honest to Christ. You don't ever, get over that. You know? Once again, Trump did not win 2020. He lost. Get over it, people. Anyhow, moving on. But yeah, there are some people who wrote some very nice things about. I just want to get out of the way for the negative stuff, especially for those two fuck faces that I just want to read. There's other people who were even this cokehead Trump Jr. kept poking fun at President Biden. But you know what though? That's fine. You know, we all know that Trump Jr. is a gigantic cokehead, so I don't even understand what the fuck is he talking about. You know, but in terms of let me see. Of people who cared about him, let's see. First and foremost, it was Vice President Harris. She wrote this, and it says here that let me see. It says here, this is what she wrote about a day ago. Vice President, this is on Blue Sky, by the way. It says here that Doug and I are saddened to learn of President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis. We are keeping him, Dr. Biden, and their entire family in our hearts and prayers during this time. Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. We are hopeful for a full and speedy recovery. And it's yeah, those are beautiful words from Vice President Harris. And now Governor Tim Walz, who is going to Vice President candidate with Vice President Harris, and it says here, and I quote, Gwen and I are praying for President Biden and his family, a truly decent man and a friend. We're wishing him all the best. Even what's his name? President Obama wrote something about, but it's very well known that President Obama and President Biden have been very, very long friends, and this is what he wrote. Michelle and I are thinking of the entire Biden family. No one has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe. And I certain he will fight this challenge, and with his trademark resolve and grace, we pray for a fast and full recovery. This is from President Obama. You know. Hell, even what's her name? This is the one where hell froze over, you know? And I'm actually pretty shocked, you know, that this lady wrote about this, you know? Let me see. Let me find her. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Well, it don't even matter. But you know what, though? From what I read on other social media pages, Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote something about that she was saddened what happened to President Biden, that she was praying for him and all that stuff. Hell, even Governor Newsom have expressed strong words for President Biden. And, you know, as I said before and earlier in this episode of my podcast, cancer is probably one of the most scariest words that you can hear in the English language. And you know, I'm 41 now. And I know for a fact later on I'm gonna have to get that shit checked, you know. But you know, I've always been like, I remember growing up, my dad used to tell me that in order for a guy to get their prostate checked, they used to stick their finger. I was like, they used to stick their finger up the ass, and yep, just to feel it. And I remember one time I was like, how does that shit work? I remember watching, I think it was in a special episode of Jackass. I'm sorry, I'm for laughing, but you know, it's just I wanted to tell you what I saw when I was in my teens, or I think it was like in my 20s, I believe. I remember, I think it was a special episode of Jackass. Johnny Knoxville was getting his prostate checked, and you know, they were doing the whole 9 yards, being checked and everything. Oh, they brought in a nurse, and the nurse was being, you know, very nice. He thought the nurse was going to do it, and they did the old switcheroo, and all of a sudden here comes another guy who was wearing a glove, 2 fingers, who had like Vaseline, and you can see how they stuck his 2 fingers up Johnny's ass and like to feel the prostate. And he was like, Johnny Knoxville was like, oh my God, that is so uncomfortable. It does look fucking uncomfortable, you know? But other than that, everything's good. Nowadays, in this day and age, if they want to check your prostate, all they do now is with the blood check, which I think they should have been doing a long time ago. But before, they used to take two of your fingers, just stick it up your ass. And I know that must be a very, very uncomfortable situation that for many men, you know. I, for one, also like that looks very uncomfortable. My mom told me that in this day and age, they do a blood work, which is even better. But yeah, other than that, to close this episode of a special report on President Biden, look, I want to wish nothing but the best for President Biden, and I hope he recovers from this, even though they say that he has an aggressive form of cancer. I know for a fact that he is a fighter, and I wish nothing but the best for President Biden, and he'll get through this, you know. Like right now with all the treatment and all the technology, anything is possible in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen. So, to close this episode, I want to wish all my love and wish nothing but the best for President Joe Biden. He'll get through this. He'll beat cancer. I guarantee. So, that about wraps up for this special report episode. I'll be back, and before I log off, I want to say I did want to record talking about Pope Francis, the late Pope Francis, by the way. But, you know, I was busy with work. And right now, also, I've been dealing with some other shit with the fucking city right now, which is, I'm still so mad about that. Everything is, I will talk about this at a later episode to express my displeasure with the city, because everything is tax. Everything is charging, you know. But other than that, I will talk about, again, for this week, I will be talking about the late Pope Francis and what do I think about this new Pope that we have. All I can say is fuck him. I have no respect for this guy. In regards to Pope Francis, I will be talking about him. And like I said, I will be back this week, and I want to wish you all a good night. And thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.